Hello.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
We are doing. How's everyone else
Good,
that you
man.
are doing?
Doing all right. Doing all right in this fine new year. It's been a year since we've talked to you, our dear viewers, on
Dun,
this
dun.
Left you in
always
Hey,
suspense.
guys,
strike slate episode.
how many times so far have you accidentally written 2024 this year?
Too
Oh,
many to
we don't got
count.
to talk about that. We don't got to. That was the legal paperwork I got to do with my day job.
Yeah.
That whiteout's been heavy.
Yeah.
Everything I do is autocomplete nowadays, so I don't have to
Ah,
worry about
Ooh,
it. Pretty amazing.
fancy. King
I
of the
know.
castle, you know?
Yeah, that's
wow.
me. That's me. What is pen? What is paper? What am I in the old world?
Right. You wish.
Back in my day.
Back in my day, we had square bases. We ranked
That's
up and we
right.
fit in the case.
And
We
if
didn't
you
even need all the units.
and you had cardboard for your movement trays, not the fancy plastic ones.
Well, no such thing as unit filler. They'd send you straight back home with the rest of your models.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You
Back
didn't
when
need
free
more
guild
than
or free
20.
guild, you know?
Oh, God. No, I got out of fantasy before unit fillers. We were like, yo, you need 40 dudes. But nah, I was cool with 20. That was it. The
Yeah.
size creep of units got scary. When I went to
I
like look back in later
How
editions.
about 20 and a tent full of dudes?
I stopped
Yeah.
playing after fifth edition. So
Yeah, I was fifth into sixth, and then I took my break. But that's not why you're here, dear listener, is it?
indeed.
I
Oh,
thought we
yeah.
were talking about that.
If you're that one listener out there who is angry based upon the brief old world reference, hold on to indignation and we apologize. Onwards
Yes.
to Age of Sigmar.
And I shall piss you off later. As is my job. Antagonism.
Wonderful.
And tradition.
Indeed,
So for
indeed.
So for today's sojourn into the world of Always Strikes Last to the Always Strikes Lake vein, remind everyone this is part two of our two-part episode. We're going to keep talking about the year of turn-in from 2024 into 2025. And the last episode was all the things we did and reminisced about what we accomplished. Now we're going to talk about the things we're hoping to do and what we're looking forward to in 2025. With also a little sprinkling at the end to talk about the recent Everwinter results. Little huge, awesome. Hopefully, you guys had a chance to attend cool tournament in the Northeast, my backyard, which
Some
sounded
of
like
our
a blast.
Patreons did too.
Yeah, well, a bunch of them. Sounded like an amazing turnout, filled with top tier players. And now Mason's going to give us his thoughts at the end on the top three winning list, 150.
How they done work.
Bingo.
We're gonna have to
Yeah.
learn.
We're going to go slightly deeper than the models,
The
kill some
whole
guys,
new
and sound
meta.
circles. We'll figure it out.
Nurgle metal. Nurgle metal.
Apparently.
Man.
Fire Slayers,
Incoming.
craziness.
So
Right. It was crazy.
So
What was that?
we've got plans for this year, don't we all? I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, best wishes.
Best
Yeah.
wishes.
I've got
Life
one
finds a
rule.
way.
One rule. It's wing it.
Wing it.
Wing it is a good rule.
That is a good rule.
Yeah.
Hard to fall flat on that one.
Right.
Very true.
So
You can only go up from the floor.
I think y'all are probably going to have more interesting ideas for what you want to accomplish this year. So I think I'll start off. We're going to do a round table for everybody listening because I'm bouncing around on that slight line between not enough caffeine and just enough to keep going. I'll get there while we do this.
Yeah, you will. We believe.
Because you don't want to wire yourself up so you stay up to like 3, 4, 5 in the morning. Because then, then it's the next day. You need some time to be able to go to sleep, but you need some caffeine to keep this going right now.
That's right. A little bit of sugar.
Get your ghost energy drink. Okay, no.
Now a cherry limeade.
Yeah, see, that's where we
electrifying
put
the dead of night.
sponsorship.
That is exactly it.
Are
you always
a real ad.
late?
Yeah, thanks for setting me up for that, guys. We're really working on it, everybody. We just need to
workshopping.
doing it
We'll get there.
with no benefit, and eventually they'll have to let us. So
That's right.
That's how that
keep
works,
sending,
right?
send those petitions. I know you guys have sent a few. Keep sending them. So
Just keep going. We'll put them on the jerseys, and then they'll just be like, "Oh, we're on the jersey." I guess.
Yeah.
I guess we sponsor them.
Yeah, that's how
And if
that
they don't-
works.
Our move is going to be put them on the jersey, then send them an invoice.
Yeah. And if you
Oh.
guys
50-50,
don't
they'll
have,
just pay it.
if you don't have access to
Yeah.
the mail system, just go outside and shout "Ghost Energy Drink," and it'll help.
If you're near a traffic cone that also doubles as a megaphone,
Oh,
like there's a
no.
lot of very, very cost-effective ways to really get the message out there.
Either way, yeah. Let people know.
You get 2 coffee cans with a string between them, right?
Mhm.
It's high tech over here.
You can call anybody, really.
Yeah.
They may not answer, but you can call them.
Just depends how far you can throw that other can, right?
So we
love
got
you
a case
guys.
of the sillies, folks. Hopefully, y'all are doing pretty good.
It's
But,
fun. It's the new year.
Yeah.
New year, new show. First show. This is in continuity with the last show, so we have no extra notes or anything. But yeah, Matt, why don't you tell us what your plans are?
Well,
if we can help.
So I actually started out this year with a tournament, small RTT up at Mox. Ricky Fisher ran it. He's been running some tournaments up there.
The fabulous Ricky Fisher.
And I finally, after being inspired by Will in our Discord, to actually go out and use my baby boys, my little birdmen, my Paladors, and my Hunters. Play a little
Your
Vanguard,
beloved.
right? My OGs, who are suddenly broken. Oh my goodness, are they broken?
Go on.
3-up save on a Palador. What is this? I know
Actually,
this is old news
that's
for
weird.
everybody, but for me, I'm used to having to skirt the line with them, right? So over the course of this tournament, Pacific Northwest, right, we run into some heavy hitters,
The
and
gas.
then it is also a Mox tournament, so there are nice light players out there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had 3 great games. One of them was Matt Beasley, and this is the first time I've actually played against him in quite some time. And we were playing the Vice, and he's playing in a pretty cool rat list, right?
Yeah, he's still doing Skaven now, right?
He is.
Yes. And so that was my second game with Stormcast in 4th edition ever.
Oh. You
So
didn't even prep for this.
I didn't
This
even
was-
prep for this. It was just, it's an RTT. Go in, show up, see what happens.
Yeah.
Go in, do your thing.
Yeah, and
My
it turns out I also have not played the Vice, I don't think, for the entirety of this edition either, because the only times that I've seen it in a tournament is the one that I put it on because I'm an asshole. So
Well, yeah, that's fine.
First step is admitting it, buddy. All right.
So here's 2 things that are immediate red flags, right? It's like, okay, so Vice pretty neck and neck with Beasley the whole time, right up until the last turn, of course, because it's Vice, right? Non-positioning, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And other games where I don't want to say dice let me down, but dice let me down. So there were some alternate decisions that would only be known had I had practice with the army, right? So herein lies the one of the resolutions that I'm here for this year, which is to focus more on practice, getting down the units that I want to play, because I'm not going to go out and I'm not going to play a meta list, but really start focusing on playing decent armies and playing them to the fullest of my potential, as opposed to showing up to a tournament with, here's a wackadoo list. I'm not Mason. I can't pull this shit off, right?
Yep.
And really just starting to nail it down in a competitive fashion. I'm at the point now where all the armies that I want, I already pretty much have everything I need, right? Now it's time to say,
if anyone does,
now it's time to say
80 Zangor, whatever craziness bullshit. Pestigore, 120 Pestigore.
Yep. Well, no, I only have 80 best score, I think. Yeah, 80 best score. I do have like 100 Zangor though, I think.
Okay.
They just show up, man. They multiply. They're in every box.
They're birds, dude. We can't help it. Like,
yeah.
What do you want from me?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So the goal this year, like from the competitive side, right, is to start getting more reps in. And that means like I do treat RTTs as reps, essentially.
Good.
When it comes down to
They're
it,
real.
because while they are a real tournament, they're not the main thing that's going to get you to Masters, right?
No.
They're not the main thing that you're going to see as like, here's a hugely competitive thing, because 4 and 5 is where it gets really crazy in a GT. So gonna try and get at least an RTT a month and a GT every other month if possible.
Okay. And you are in an area where there's a lot of tournaments right?
You're going to paint.
Exactly.
All right.
So
okay.
Get consistent, get better, and get just more knowledgeable on the strengths and weaknesses of my playstyle, right? That usually just means, feeling a unit. For me, I have to learn the hard way. I think we talk about this so much, right? Like I have to lose 4 times with an army for each win, but I save all those wins usually for a tournament. If I'm making the losses ahead of time, which
you win more proved
that this one got to get more losses in, right? So
how'd you end up at the RTT though?
How did I end up?
Yeah, because you said you lost to Beasley.
So I lost to Beasley, and I'm sorry, Chris. I'm gonna say it, man.
You saying it?
I couldn't roll higher than a 3 for the entire game.
Ooh.
I missed 3-inch charges, 4-inch charges,
Chris.
5-inch charges.
Ooh.
It was painful, and then
sounds painful. It hurts me.
Full 6-man unit Palador hammers, maybe 3 hits out of all the dice. Like it was one of those games, and amazingly, like Chris has gotten so much better over the time that I've been playing him too, and his list building is growing even better too. He played this just tank of a Nurgle army, which was just what is it, the Blight Cyst, where when they die they blow up on you.
Oh sure.
And then all of the Blight Kings that you can fit in a list with 2 Magath Lords and 2 sorcerers.
I dig it.
So just a walk-in tank list, and if you can't roll high enough to get average weight of dice through that 3 and up save, you're not going to be able to do it, right? So, so that was a 1 and 2, which was eye-opening because, all of those games.
Were you expecting better when you went to the tournament?
No, not really. I was just I saw it as a practice game, right? I took that as the practice games that I didn't have with Stormcast. So it was a good way of actually learning the army. The hilarious thing is that in each one of those games, knowing now how to play the army correctly and the strengths of it, and the weaknesses, as opposed to how Paladors have been in the past, the difference of the units, I would have played probably differently in each scenario, especially with the Celestant. Celestant was the only one that I kind of brought back in. Celestant doesn't need to be in the sky anymore. Just set him on the table. He doesn't even need to eat, right? Just put him on the table. Do it. So,
I mean, are we worried about him getting sniped as much? I mean, if he's
just the threat of something in the air, right? Especially when I have a full movement army that can deny all your drops.
Because all your stuff is teleporting and then screaming out table edges.
Teleporting or moving 20 inches, right? Because Paladors can move 20 inches and then charge after shooting. So, so it was one of those where it's like, okay, the army is, or at least the Vanguard army that I like to play is completely different now. Learn that well. I can safely say, going back into those matches, each of those could have been a win had I known the army fairly well. And I think Matt and I both sat down and talked it out too after our game. He was like, yeah, you had the mobility to just get up there and tank it and just hold the objective. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, I've only got 4-and-up saves, or playing like I only have 4-and-up saves, so I can't take anything, and on and on and on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you've got gold armor, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, mine's silver.
Yeah.
So
well,
Okay.
but
you should be
Visual.
screaming only the faithful and running up there, dude.
exactly. And it worked for a little bit of it, but
Okay.
the rest of it really being just getting more reps in, smaller RTTs, learning through those, because the tournament itself was such a fun experience. Even as I was having like a mental breakdown over not being able to roll over a 3 for like entire turns, right?
That happens.
Mason's seen that. He knows that. He knows what that looks like. But
we've all been there, man. It's always so rough. It's like, well, stats have denied me.
Yep.
This one.
Yep. All the ones I've rolled on prayers.
Managed to get like a best sportsmanship at that one, which I have no idea how I got it after that third game. Thank you, Chris. You rock. But again, this year, competitive wise, 1 RTT a month if I can. 1 GT every other month. I'm gonna get to the point where I can make Mason scared. I need to get back there.
Okay.
That's admirable.
Yeah,
that is an
admirable
goal, man.
Yeah, but like I'd like you just to be a little bit scared of me. See, that's like the goal. It's like make Mason go, oh, just a little bit.
There you go. I'm playing Matt. What's what happened? It's one of those moments.
Yeah. So that's one. And then the second, hobby wise, is finish an army entirely and set it down. Not like set it down to not play, but don't say I'm going to, get this extra detail later that I want, or I want to do this a little bit later. Have one of my armies entirely finished to the point where I could say, yes, I'm going to take this and I'm going to shoot for best painted.
Okay.
Right. So 2 lofty goals. Let's see if we can get them.
I'm there with you for it. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot for the stars on this one, because last year was pretty much no goals, right? Didn't really set out to do that much, and then just kind of fell into the year in review being a good one. So we're going to set high goals. And then if we can even make it halfway, then I will feel happy about it. That's what I'm thinking.
Cool.
That seems pretty reasonable.
Only set stretch goal.
Yeah, set a stretch goal. And then however far I've stretched, I'll feel good about it, as long as I'm trying. So I guess the goal for this year is to try. Try.
All right. Well, let's.
Yeah. So there's my bloviations. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, this should be our next Voyager. I'm happy to. Or Mason, you have a glint in your eye. You feel like going to share yours? You want to save it till later?
I can talk if you want. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, jump in.
Let's see. I definitely have started a hobby goal to like completely paint a whole new army, and I'm working on a display board and a fun theme that I'm going on, and so I am all on the gas right now to do that, but I would like to make it kind of a year-long project, because I do have a lot of Iron Jaws to work through, and it's been an interesting project, because I like started building the models like right at Christmas time, and then kind of got to work right in the new year, so I'm counting it as the new year. But
it counts.
Yeah, but it's been a ton of fun to be inspired to do a project that is not based on the army being powerful or like busted out of the gate. Well, it is a bummer that the book's coming out and it doesn't seem super impressive on a lot of fronts. It's not like doom and gloom forever. The things come and go, but I actually have no interest in how powerful they're going to be. I'm just kind of excited to be inspired by a hobby project. So that's kind of cool, because I haven't really been super inspired for hobby in a little while, like at least 6 months or so. So so I'm pretty excited about that. Hopefully I can keep that momentum flowing, because I used to do a ton of painting and then I kind of got out of it for a while. So I am really excited to explore more hobby related stuff. I would like to, do well at a tournament and try to like walk away with the best overall. That's a award I don't win hardly ever. So I don't think maybe I've won it once, maybe not, but
I think you got two that I remember.
Overalls, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, because I know you normally just go for best general, but is it because like by you guys, it's like you have to paint your own army to get the actual soft scores for that? Is it like
no, I mean, so I think it's twofold. I think if you get best general, then you're not going to get best overall, generally speaking. So in tournaments that I do very well, normally that is a category it could fall in. Also, often when I'm borrowing armies, sometimes they're fully painted, ready to go. Sometimes they're just like barely legal. And often I don't like set them up to display them and like do that part because they're not mine. So
that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. It does.
Yeah, and usually the TOs are well aware of who I am and the armies that I
what
have.
You're doing.
Yeah, exactly. No foul play there.
Good.
But yeah, I think that would be fun. And like this last year, it was kind of interesting. I was on like a competitive journey, but the first golden ticket opportunity that I had, I won best general at that event, but the award went to best overall. So Alex Gonzalez rightfully won that one. So that could be something cool that I'm hoping to accomplish with with that side of things. But from a competitive side, man, it's tough to say. I think I have to juggle that with the family balance and see if it's, I'll definitely, I applied to do the Masters team for the PNW Masters. So I do really want to, I think that's in like October timeframe. So quite a while to work through, but that's a goal that I really want to work towards. I've really liked Team Warhammer. I'm doing like online, like TTS team stuff. And,
it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's lots of fun. So I'm hopeful about getting that opportunity and being able to do that. That would be really awesome. Man, I don't think that I have on my radar to go to Worlds this year. If it happens, it happens. I think that depending on how many events I can get to reasonably, not nearly as many as last season, I don't think, but that have golden tickets. One cool thing is quite a few of our like really top players here in the PNW won invites already because they made like I think like day 2 or top 16 or whatever it was so I think Beasley, Stark, and Alex all auto get invited back next year.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's really neat, actually.
And maybe Chris Lemoy, actually.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, he definitely got up there in ranking.
And Carson. I think that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's actually. I'd have to double check.
It's like a decent chunk is already there.
Yeah, but it was a good amount of people that are automatically invited. So really just cementing how strong our region is. But their benefit is our benefit, because if they beat us at tournaments like they could and should, then we can snake in under them, out there. Yeah, very nicely. So we'll see. It was a lot of prep. It was a lot of practice. It was costly, so it's definitely not a never again, but it's not the immediate jump back in, sprint 100 miles an hour right now.
Well, like at the very least, it's like that you can, right? That's the thing, right? Like, cool, I can. If I wanted to, I can.
And you don't want to burn yourself out too by being too hyper competitive and be like, oh, I need to be on top of this meta, I need to do all this research and all that. Because you've got your own life to live too, man.
True. I don't want it to get twisted. I'm still obsessed with Warhammer. So
of course.
Wait, you guys have
very tapped in.
You guys have lives?
Yeah.
What?
I love competitive Warhammer. It's really cool. It's fun. It's tons of fun. but yeah, so yeah, I'm kind of chilling. I'm still gonna try to compete at my best level. I'm not gonna necessarily play narrative lists, but I'm not sprinting through the meta patch by patch, as you say, anytime soon. So
yeah, this ain't League of Legends where we're digesting every weekly update. Like, oh, yeah, here's this,
right. Right. Yeah. So I would like for this year, for like a competitive wise, I want to participate in the Team Masters, PNW Masters team. So hopeful for that. If not, I would hope
That's a
to
reasonable
help
goal.
support the team in any way. To be a part of that will be awesome in any capacity.
Yeah.
I would like to go back to our Masters tournament. I've been every year that we've done it, and I would like to be able to compete well enough and as many events as I can to do that.
Yeah.
I would love to have a schedule like what Matt suggested. 12 and 6 would be a super reasonable schedule to me, but whether or not I can swing that, maybe maybe
to me it feels borderline almost unreasonable, right? Like to me, because I didn't commit like you did last year, so I'm not even trained for that, right? So like,
no, but I mean, like, I if possible, if I didn't have the other expectation stuff, I'd do them every weekend. I'm cool. I'm crazy. I'll play a bunch of Warhammer. Let's fucking go. Sorry,
I totally resonate with that.
Yeah. So, however, I'm the one after round 5 of a GT saying like, "Hey, you guys want to play a game? Like, let's go, rack up."
Good for you, man.
I feel it.
Yeah,
I feel it.
Yeah. But
you are infectious with that, Mason. You are. It's a great thing to have.
It is inspiring at the very least.
Yeah, I think once a month is not super unreasonable. If you're like, I want to be doing more Warhammer, that's not too uncommon. There's a high likelihood that you'll miss a couple and double up on a couple months, just the way that the tournaments fall throughout the year, right? So you'll have a couple back to back and then a break probably. I bet it would be rare for it to work out perfectly.
Yeah.
Just the way it works. But so yeah, I think that that's a noble goal. And I think that even if you tried really hard and you ended up at like 8 and 5, that's still like a huge success. I'd be super happy if I could do 8 and 5.
Oh yeah,
that's still more than a lot of people get out to do these things too.
That's a ton. That's what I'm saying. So
yeah, let alone pick up games with your friends.
And over here breaking my chair. Damn.
Right.
Last time it was the dog. This time it's just you being dumb and sick, man.
Now it's just me. Just me.
My God, no one else to blame.
And my fat ass.
We need to try to get with Kangi and get some more underground Kangi basement brawls.
Okay.
16-man fight pits.
The other thing I want to do is start getting like a little. Oh man, I'm interjecting on yours, but I'm gonna
again. Mason's infectious. This is
I'm gonna
a literal.
I'm gonna tap this onto your goals. I'm gonna tap this onto your goals. So
okay, bingo.
I'm gonna sign us up as battle buddies. So any tournament that I know or that you know of and I haven't talked about, I'm gonna ask you to talk to me about. And any tournament that I know of that I haven't seen you talk about, I'm gonna ask to you if you want to go.
See, now you guys are onto something. You got to keep each other
accountability.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Accountability buddies. Okay.
And he's like, I already know where all the tournaments are. I don't know what this is. This is just you signing me up to tell you every tournament.
I think that's a pretty fair estimation of that.
It's just I would love to sign up for every tournament right away. They just get pricey, man. I totally get that venue prices and all of that jazz. Like the tickets are justifiably what they cost, but sometimes there'll be like 3 events go up at once. I'm like, dang, this is an expensive commitment.
Especially if you consider any travel at all. If it's not just like drive up the coast or something for an hour.
Well, and that's just for like a few local, But like Canada still has accommodations and travel that we have to if we're gonna go up there.
Idaho and even Spokane, right? So even those two, those aren't exactly a short skip and a hop for us.
No,
So.
No,
not like a day trip for sure from my limited engagement with the driving around that neck of the woods.
it's
Literally.
not. It like I'm like in my area. I live between Maryland and Virginia, where I can go like a couple hours either direction and probably find something. But y'all are going out. You're crossing mountains. You're going over valleys and hills, over the river, through the woods to grandma's house.
We are in the wilderness.
You are.
Oh yeah.
Most
I'm
of the
lucky
time,
enough
it's
in
not
Mass.
too unbearable, but
and there's bears there.
There are literally bears.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Actual bears and mountain lions.
Yeah,
those at least we share. I
Coyotes.
mean,
We get a bunch. We got the animals, but yeah, like I said, I definitely, I play competitively and I want to be at that top level. So we'll see. I would love. It's probably not going to be this year, but I would love for a year soon that I can like go to LVO, which is coming up here in a couple weeks. Not going this year, but I'd go to that and then really just do like a whole season of trying my hardest. That would be really fun. So maybe like the last year of the edition, maybe the first year of the new edition. We'll see. But like down the road goal, really looking forward to doing that, but I doubt that's this year.
that's a laudable goal. Maybe I'll jump into my yearly goals and kind of tag off that because it dovetails nicely in that. And I kind of feel what you're saying there, Mason. I'm like, oh, maybe this isn't the big year, but I want to do what I can, kind of feelings because I also have tournament goals and aspirations. But I have a relatively newborn daughter just clocked in her first 2 months. So it's not the year for crazy going far abroad tournaments. Just like a bit too much going on at home. So we figure out that, and having the multiple kiddos. But I do have aspirations to kind of try to, get a scorecard filled out. I think a really good year for me would be if I could find a way to path it so that it doesn't have to be like every great GT or all the major events I would love to go to. But if I can get 3 or 4 RTTs and 1 to 2 GTs of reasonable note, just to fill out a scorecard to be like, all right,
speaking my language, Jack,
done enough to be on the board. Yeah, because I think I can maybe swing that. Probably backloaded more than front loaded with young child status, but maybe even squeeze one in. If I can find a way to get some babysitter coverage, earlier on, and that'll be kind of keeping things fresh, keeping my head in the game a little bit, with it. But it probably won't be my year to do kind of what you did last year, Mason, or even Matt, what you're aspiring to do this year with kind of that schedule. I would love to do that. I would love to keep that schedule and kind of have that track to kind of get some practice in, but that might be a different year. I'll be a bit more modest in my aspirations for this one.
Okay. So have you thought about doing like long-term tournaments like with like a local gaming group at all?
You mean like what? Like
like a game a week kind of deal?
Yeah, like spread it out so they get
do it as a league almost.
Yeah.
Those are
I know
fun.
BCP organizer probably has a way you can set that up if you do actually want to get something on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, I think those are in some ways easier and in some ways harder because the logistics of getting people to play their games and all that.
Oh, for sure.
And then I'd probably have to moderate it. It's actually somewhat easier for me to, do what I like to do, which is host our, RTTs for Always Strikes Last at the local game shop here, TJ's Cafe, which is a little pump for them. One of the best gaming spaces I've ever seen. Mox like in terms of its size, the number of tables and accommodations and its cafe and all that.
Man. Next time I go out to Boston, I really need to go see.
We'll drop by and have a game there, but it's amazing, right? I can very easily, drop in and set up tables nicely, for a 20-person tournament, which is what I've been doing with our RTTs. And we've run about 3 of them, so far, with the intent to resurrect more this year once I kind of get my stride and all this stuff and the timing is right. And I think I managed to play in 2 of the 3 because it's easy enough to do that there and to sort of like still TO it properly and then be there for most questions and make sure everything's moving along.
Nice.
But, that's whether I'm playing or not. Like definitely another thing I want to do this year is make sure I get some consistency there. Run 2, 3, 4 of those across the course of the year and make sure that it becomes a fixture for the local community and help to build it up. because everyone seemed to really enjoy them. For the first number we've run, I want to keep that momentum going. Yeah, the store is always asking me to, get the next one on the calendar, which I do intend to do, but it's been a bit interrupted as of late for the same reasons I expressed before.
Yeah, very good reason.
And Matt, sorry to jump in, Jack, but Matt, I think there's a guy here that would love for us to get local RTTs going. We should do Always Strikes Last RTTs.
I mean,
we absolutely have to, coast to coast.
So I would love to do that. So I'm down, right? That means one of us has to we have to figure out how one of us can play off and on.
Let's go back to Jack, but we'll talk.
No. This is a perfect segue because and not a segue, but more of just an addendum to that sentiment of at least getting 2, right? If we get 2 from you, we'll already have 2 GTs from me. And then if we get any more, Mason, when you and I get this together, we could have a potential of like 6 Always Strikes Last tournaments this year.
My God.
That's true. Coast to
Even
coast,
if you only get 1, we could have 5. Right? So like the
team goal, squad goal.
Yeah.
Let's make that happen. Coast to coast, Always Strikes Last.
Always Strikes Last squad goals.
And then, Jack, I have a follow-up question to go back to your goal track. Do you plan to, or do you currently do TTS games and testing and stuff like that?
That's a good question. I'm a little rusty in my TTS, and I haven't really played on it recently, but I do kind of have it on like my, wouldn't this be a good fit given time constraints and relative difficulty? Because as much as it's even hard right now to find 3 or 4 uninterrupted hours, I can do it, later at night or if I plan for it. And so TTS games or for practice or for tournament play could be something I could potentially find some room for. I think the last time I did a lot of TTS was actually way before Always Strikes Last, really, when I ran a campaign over COVID, where actually I think Matt, Rocco, we all played our thing, the Jump Fire Plateau. Matt Beasley played with us, Miles in it. We had a lot of fun with that. I just put that
Ballard
together.
Came in and broke our hearts, man.
I know.
It was so close, Jack. The win and the Jack off.
That was a really fun
Jack
time,
there.
But so I've seen my way around that table, so that might be my radar, Mason. It's certainly a good alternative to not be able to get out physically somewhere.
Yeah, it's nice. I don't think you have to jam a ton of games, and it would be pretty easy to get your chops back up. I've picked it up relatively quickly, but I think that most of the time games go quicker too.
I would imagine.
And it's purely the game. It's the time you'd spend picking up the dice and sorting them all, it automatically does it for you.
That's true. The dice roller thing,
the dice rolling is substantially faster, and stuff is just quick. Like if you're just gonna like move this block up, you just grab and drag and boom, right?
That's true.
The minute placement can take a tiny bit longer, but like the majority of movement, you can just like, oh, is this gonna fit right here? Just like copy, paste, boom, throw this bitch. Yep, it is. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it. Delete this one. Get it out of here. Like it is. So you do have a lot of shortcuts. Yeah.
Totally fair. Totally fair on that.
Might be kind of cool to explore.
So here's a question. As somebody who primarily lives in the world of trackpads, is it possible to play TTS on a trackpad and have fun?
I have not tried, but I will open it tomorrow and try for you. I would guess not.
But
to be fair, most of the controls that you do are like WASD, and so like left click and highlight is like copy all. So if you're familiar with that and you're very good, like some people are very good on the trackpad or the ball or whatever, but like if you've mastered like click and drags, you'll be okay. And then like right click kind of just helps you pivot at a 360 to look up and angle up and stuff. So it's not
unheard of.
It's not unheard of if you are a master of the pad, right? Like
if you are going to beat Dark Souls with the Donkey Kong drum set, I would recommend it.
Yes, that is a nice way of putting it.
But I would definitely go to mouse myself.
As someone who has taught literally thousands of people how to do that. Yeah, I recommend a mouse. But if you are that guy, Matt, and damn it, Matt Davidson, you might be.
Yeah, you
Well,
could be.
Go nuts. Go
as
bananas.
The
as a
Destiny's
graphic
calling you.
designer that has done very complicated things all using only a trackpad and has
Yeah.
completely steered away from a mouse, like mouse using a mouse is actually really weird for me.
I
So
still don't know why. I've never thought to ask you either because I'm like, oh, he's got his own things. But what happened with that? Why are you anti-mouse?
because it's one more thing to lose. Like, so early on in my
It's
career,
a
right?
peripheral.
I'm bringing around my laptop on site or off site or doing something,
Okay.
right? Because that's what you work
Yeah.
on, right?
Yeah.
So if you lose your mouse or you sit on your mouse, which I have done to a very expensive mouse and broke the mouse by accident because I stuck it in my pocket as an afterthought, you start to go like, okay, how can I do this without breaking the things that I need? And
That's fair.
you get that dexterity.
Okay.
Also,
Hear me out, guys.
playing guitar helps too, by the way.
Oh,
Hear me
sure.
out. $1 million idea. Figure out a way we can make our cell phones be mouses.
So here's the funny thing. One of my first jobs out of design school was at Microsoft. And one of the first things that we did that I had to work there on was this product called a Surface Hub, which is essentially like a presenting device, right? And so one of the first things that I had to test for that was the Microsoft phones at the time, which you could actually turn into a tethered touchpad. So it's entirely capable, right? And you can use it as a mouse. So it's entirely possible.
Right.
Interesting.
Okay,
Well,
Jack, sorry, we hijacked
We have
your
derailed.
No
journey.
worries. I'm being a
But-
little low key tonight, but yeah, I guess segueing in my 2025 aspirations from the getting on the scoreboard, playing enough games, see what comes of that.
Yeah, okay.
I think
Trying to host some stuff coast to
trying to
coast.
host some
Always strikes
stuff,
last. Yeah.
getting all that kind of moving forward. I think the hobby side of the goal is a little bit at a path diversion of woods because I got some stuff that I could do.
Okay.
I'm not yet sold in any one of the things. So maybe I'll use our time here to chat about what that could be.
Lay it on the table.
Please.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So one path is the completionist in me wants to go back and like finish painting the remaining Hedonites units that I haven't painted.
Oh,
Which
sure.
is because I had like a whole tracker up to see can I get one of every unit finished for the Hedonites, and I'm like 80% of everything in the book, and so that's almost everything, but there's a couple odd heroes and things, and two variants of the chariots I got to finish up. The Thresher and like the big one.
Oh,
sure. On my desk. A bunch of little things like that. But all the heroes, everything else, like pretty much done, except for like maybe one of the twins variants. Because I have like the full army and played it like quite heavily for like a long time. But I kind of want to be sitting there with my display case and say, this is all of Slanesh. This is done to the point we're making earlier.
Talking about finish an entire army.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
So that's a little bit of an allure. Of course, like that's the allure. The cold water on that road is maybe, well, I got to go back and pick up the palette specifically to that army and try to do it. And I'm not really planning on playing Hedonites this upcoming year outside of maybe occasional game where I just feel like it when someone wants a variety. So that's a cool water. The other thing I could do is just keep powering through Slaves to Darkness, just kind of like the default, like keep adding stuff, to the roster, which I'll do anyway, maybe, but it doesn't feel like a project. It's not like an inspiring labor of love.
So, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say third road, and maybe there's another road, but the third road. Keep working on my little vanity project with the Court of Flowers for the little ghoulie army. Try to get those guys just to that easy 2,000 points I already have assembled. I got my Ashora and all those guys, but I just like that whole basing idea. Get them all in there like verdant field of greenery and florals.
Yeah.
Say from an outside perspective, that seems to be the one that you're the most interested in, just as somebody who watched you explain all three.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but it's also like the playstyle of the ghouls right now. I'm not a master. I played like a local campaign with them last year and I had fun with it, but it was like fighty, not shooty. I don't know if I want something shooty right now. If I secretly want that phase, which is why I painted up this regiment for now. Yeah.
So
Interesting. Yeah.
And
Well, Feck definitely does not shoot. So.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe
you
like
could
a painting fund.
just do Altergeist. You could get that, 2,000 points really quickly.
The Rebel Yell army.
Yeah. Exactly.
uh,
That Feck scheme does sound really cool, and I've seen it done pretty cool with like the fluff stuff, and you just like can glue down and you just like start dropping a bunch of.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah,
you would laugh, Mason, when I was getting ready for this, to prep for all this stuff. I basically went on to eBay and various hobby sites, and I bought like all the fluff and flowers I could find, so I could create like little dioramas. And
as one does.
I basically assembled enough to be able to play a little campaign with it, and then I painted exactly one Vargeist who looks great. Didn't do his basing yet, and then pretty much I would say 85 to 90% of the scheme I have for 20 ghouls, which was extremely tedious, even with contrasts, and did the full basing on like 4 or 5 of them. Like, all right, this looks good. And then I hit my wall. So if I return to it, I have a lot of fun to do. But yeah, all the flowers are waiting in the basement. Now there is a fourth road. A fourth road.
Okay. Oh my god!
Yeah.
All
How many doors?
What is this intersection?
This is the last road. Don't worry.
This is a road in Boston. There was no city planning for this. It's just
no,
it's
it's a bunch of demented spider webs around a river. That's what we do.
That's okay. Yeah.
But this road leads down, and it will only open if they release the Chaos Warden. And then I'll definitely do that because that seems really cool.
Well, I mean, I think if they release that, every single person in the world will buy that army too. It will be a paint off for every old nerd, I think.
That's possibly true. But if it is a bandwagon, I'm sitting here on it all on my own, just driving that cart slowly forward right now. I have a feeling.
I don't even think it would be a bandwagon. I think it would be one of those things like
what?
A mining cart.
No, just like it would be a bus that's surprisingly late, that everybody's been waiting on, and it stops for everybody all at once to hop on. I feel like if we got Chaos Dwarves back, or at least some iteration of them, that's just like a particular feel that AOS just doesn't have. There's like really grumpy, angry shooting army for chaos. Like, what? We don't have that at all, right? So
I think it's coming. Like, I mean, I don't know. I just have like this feeling that it's like going to be June, or it's going to be like next December, but they're going to have some major release. It's going to come out of nowhere. And the only hints are going to be all the things in the floor books recently, where there's like literally Chaos Dwarf strongholds on the mountains, like in Akshi or like in the 8 points. They refer to all those stuff, and even in the most recent Slaves of Darkness battle tome, they're talking about a new emerging chaos power, which is clearly Hashut.
Yeah, and
so
I mean,
it's like
my Warcry warbands, right? So
I know Iron Golems are back, baby.
It's not crazy, but like to me that would be a little bonkers that like the last major releases, like of the last notable few, you've got Slaves, Skaven, and then a brand new Chaos. Like, it's not unheard of. You've got some solid points and evidence, right? Like, I mean, that's a good. But wow, I mean, that would be some serious emphasis, because between those, I'm trying to think like what we got. Like, there was just a huge, like, the Dargoth expansion was pretty big after a recent update, so like within the year. So like I consider the Slaves like an overhaul almost. Skaven in its own right, same.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point. It might be like they wait 2 years and do that, because then it's spicy again and do something with the Order of Destruction more. Though the salty person in me, or who likes to joke about like the quote unquote Slave to Darkness release, cannot miss the opportunity, Mason, of saying that was more of a D release. They just clawed models back and give you a book.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the thing really is though, like I think when we all saw that they didn't really have any rules in Old World where they were going to get support, I think all of us were like, yes, please, yes, 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 yes. Because in all actuality, Chaos lost a faction and they lost models on Slaves to Darkness, right? It was
Yeah.
only a small bump if you think about it for the Skaven. What was it? 4 new units and
That
then just
sounds right.
rehashing models. Am
Yeah.
I right on that?
Yeah, then refreshing it all. And then
Yeah.
And then
Brood
Stormcasters
Terror,
always going to
Galvanier.
get something new, even though they
we don't
actually
gotta
didn't
talk
really
about
get that much new.
Stormcast, man.
Yeah.
No.
It's fine.
And
They're fine.
going with the paladin units from 5 models to 3 is still irking me.
Oh,
If it was a unit of 5 Reclusians, I'm all over that.
oh,
It
just wait.
tax.
They're waiting for
No.
the next release of the book so they can take all those units that are 3 and then move them up to 5. So you have to buy a box until you even it out, like they did the first time, right?
Gotcha.
We don't got to go back to first edition. Yeah,
You figured out
right.
their plan.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love to see that. I feel like there's a couple of other sub factions that could use the Lumineth treatment. To be
Yes.
honest,
I
like
get that. I get that.
Daughters of Cain, looking at you,
Yeah.
and Ideneth
Fair.
for sure.
I did not. Yes. Yeah. Oh, the deep sea elves.
But no,
But that would be cool, Jack. I
Yeah.
support that. If that comes out, you can just dive head on in, just kick
Mhm.
everything else to the side. That's a fine commitment.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think
thought it
that
was
can take over your
reasonable, man.
life. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be
Mm.
just
Tell your wife now, like, hey, this is a low odd bet, but I'm betting 1,000 on it right now. So,
Well,
when
Get
it
all the money
comes,
from the swear jar.
I
Yeah.
have it already. I
Side.
have it already. Even in
Yeah.
the shadow of this year, being very focused on little people I spend
Yes.
time with, I can tell her quite honestly that I'm remaining very focused on the little people.
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I'm excited. I would love to see what you would do with them too. But on your TTS stuff, maybe we should get like a little tiny ASL league going.
We should.
Honestly,
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
We can
Put
get
that
like
up in the
practice
Discord.
in.
That'd be good.
Wouldn't be too
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. You can watch
And
me
also-
flop
hip
over
for
my
it.
trackpad. Hell yeah.
No.
Or we'll group up and
TTS
send me a
trackpad
mouse.
game.
Mhm.
Amazing.
I have like four mice. Do you call them mice?
Mises?
I think they're Meeson.
Meeson?
This is crazy.
Probably.
I love it.
Gaggle
I have
of
4 moose.
Mouses.
4 moose.
There you go.
Uh,
That's
I
just
just-
got to be moose. That's
Yeah.
it.
we gotta call them moose.
English.
I just
You know,
I don't like it.
Pink-
Don't like it.
Pinky, it's a moose.
Jack,
See?
did we damper any more of your roads, or have we?
Oh, yeah, we're on road
I-
5. Is
I-
there-
I went full
thoroughly.
Boston traffic pattern, you guys. I made
I
all
was
sorts of
gonna say-
roads. They led back into each other, and then I
Well-
just stopped building them.
I ended up in
It's
Lynn
all right, man.
somehow. I don't know
Yeah.
how I ended up in Lynn.
Yeah.
And then went to
But-
Marblehead.
But I think we ended up at Rocco's house.
I think we
believe
did. I think it was
so.
Dear
Rocco's,
God, how do I
Yeah.
follow that up? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Rocco's Modern Life Hammer. All right, let's take it off.
Hell yeah. All right.
It's a 90s kid. I don't know why I made that.
First things. Oh, I love it.
I love it.
Modern Life.
I'm here
growing up.
for
I
it.
loved it. I loved
That
it.
and courage. That and
About it.
courage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, courage is top tier.
Oh, 100%.
The things I do for love. Anyway, all right, Rocco here. Hey everybody, how you doing? Hello everybody. So
Hello, Rocco.
I do not have nearly as many lofty goals yet because I cannot plan my life out that far in advance. But we do have some guidelines and things. I do know I want to do Adepticon again. I'm
Nice.
currently on a team to do the team's event. I don't know if I'm taking my Deepkin or my Zinch yet. We're looking at team compositions. we're looking to see like who's bringing what, or if I'm like, I'm the guy that's bringing all the chaff units, or am I the guy that's going to bring all the monsters? Am I bringing my turtle? Am I the wizard? Well, with other people, we're bringing a bunch of bloodthirsters, so we're trying to still hammering that out. That got moved to Wisconsin and Milwaukee, I believe. So it's also a little bit of different thing too for me, because before, when it was outside of Chicago, I had people I could stay with and do. So that's a whole bunch of planning we're worrying about. Part 2 of big events and things. Mr. Matt Davidson throws a couple big GTs a year, I heard. I would like to go to one of them.
Are you going to grace the almost salty
I mean, I'm not saying I'm livening up the joint. A couple levels with my presence, go. Because we did shoot an idea around of like a live episode of the podcast, and if we can get enough hosts together in one area, I'd love to be part of that.
Can.
That we
I mean, y'all could do that without me and Jack. That ain't the problem. I'd like to be involved a little bit, and I'd like to treat it as a little vacation, because I know way the fuck too many people from the Pacific Northwest from being online way too much for all these fucking years. I want to be around some of you for a little bit.
Hell you can see them in the trees.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Every single one of them would be lucky to have you. I feel like I should take that as a promo thing. 2 tournaments, GTs, Feast of Blades in the Iron Cage, just to make fun of Imperial Fists because they suck.
Damn right. I knew I liked you for some reason, man.
Right? I'm worried all the way. Give me some sin and sarcasm. That's me right there.
100%.
We don't serve the demons. We shove them into little machines to power into spicy batteries.
But if H.R.R. Geiger was a Warhammer player, we know what he would have definitely had in his army roster.
But they're on Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Easiest thing to remember. Those weekends, right? So they're there. We can get you penciled in. You can get in there. You can come see the haunted hotel for yourself.
Yeah.
Come get spooked.
Love a good ghost story, Love being a part of it too.
That would be so fun.
Love being a part of a ghost story, man.
I definitely, and with the wife, I already cleared going to one of them this year, so I've got to work out some fine details. That is something on my radar.
Seems super reasonable.
Yeah, no, it is. And because that would take the place of me like going to like Atlantic City for like for the Atlantic City Open or doing different things.
Okay.
And really? I do. Yeah, no, because I like that tournament a lot. But again, because again, I'm going coast to coast here.
Oh yeah,
reasonable. Let's see. I'd love to go and do something in the great state of Michigan, where I do have some other friends of the podcast, even.
The Michiganders, Michigandering.
Yes. And I do get out to Massachusetts every once in a while. So, Jack, we're going to have a play date eventually.
We are going to make it happen, man. We're going to make it happen.
I usually end up being around there in the fall anyway. We just got so much family and friends around where I grew up. That's and in between that, finding an RTT or two. So trying to hit at least 2 GTs and maybe 3 RTTs, maybe even 1. Maybe I could literally be the coast to coast. I hit 1 at Always Strikes Last on the West Coast, and maybe one of Jack's events on the East Coast.
That would be awesome.
That'd be great.
We'll make sure we kind of try to sync it up so we can do it all together, man.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
I feel like that could be reasonable.
Literally, I'll be here for it if you come to.
Yeah,
live here.
Not even joking about it.
Yeah, no, that was a literal right there. And again, I think I'm committing to. So with model backlog, everyone's painting now. You're getting me itchy for hobby. Because I did just knock out my my Kron spine. which I'm counting as first model of the year. Between
Nice.
that, I know it was a little bit early, but yeah,
I
I was
mean,
busy around New Year's.
for the frustration that that model causes, it should
Good
be right.
Lord. We
Should
have the
be.
technology to make this shit easy. What happened? I
I
was
don't
avoiding
know.
it for like the year or whatever we had it before, but I finally broke down, and now I remember why I was avoiding it.
It's the you know what they did? It was the
What?
litmus test of the Slanesh release and all of those stupid models. And
Mm.
they said, "Look what we can get away with."
By all
Mm.
those stupid models, you mean like all the ones I still have in that final little stretch?
No, that's 20% of the army.
Yep.
You know,
Oh,
it's really
That's
fun to
it.
paint, Matt. You know, it's really fun
That's
to
them.
brushes and exalted chariot of Slanesh. No
Oh
assembly
no.
instructions and
Oh, no.
impossible to reach little wheels.
And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's rough. And and the other model I already painted was a kingpin for Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Nice.
I think it's being blurry, being a pain in the ass. We're audio mostly anyway. They won't see it. But no,
It's
I painted
fine.
him up as the Spider-Verse Kingpin because there was a stupid meme about it's not about the money, Spider-Man, it's about the Mets. And I'm unfortunately very loyal to my baseball team for no good reason.
Hey man.
Uh, but you know, you go to another game system like that thing was so easy to put together in 2 seconds, and I'm just like, why did we have to layer and crap and twist and turn and spin around? But anyway, it's built, and now the rest of my hobby should either be I'm touching up my Deepkin, I think, because
Yeah.
I as odd as it is, I went so heavy into sharks and defensive eels in the previous books. I don't have any more shark guard. So I'm gonna rectify that with a unit of at least one unit of 6
That seems
uh,
reasonable.
as my
No
next
blindy
hobby
boys and
project.
girls though?
Hmm?
Not do you have enough blindy boys and girls though?
Oh yeah, no, we got thralls. We got
Oh,
thralls. We
okay.
got arch. I got a 20 block of archers I've got every hero. I actually no, I shouldn't say that. I only have one Eidolon, but I made it so that it could be either. Uh,
Nice.
so there is a list floating around that has one of each. It's given me some.
It's good.
Making you think about it. Yeah, yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
one.
I never thought I'd see the day I'd want both of them in a list. I never thought like, oh, yeah, I could have some magic in my Deepkin and really like give a shit.
And
Um,
I still need to disabuse myself of the notion that those are uh easy targets.
Not
They used to be
anymore.
so easy.
Oh
They
yeah,
used to be
the
so
island on the
Sideways,
sea,
easy.
if
whatever it was. Yep.
breeze.
It was like, oh, I see that you've taken an aspect of the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, welcome. Come sit right next down to my dragon ogres, please.
You
Please.
know
It's
what
right
I have
here.
to what I have to get used
I know what
to
you're
with my
thinking.
deep. Oh
Seals live in the sea, right? That's where you see that.
god. Fuck. No, what I gotta get used to is the Deepkin lost the rule about you have to shoot the nearest unit.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
how I used to like screen with my army and how I played it is so different to me now that I need to relearn the army, and I think that's a challenge that I'd like to take on going forward and spend honestly a good chunk of the year relearning it, and then slowly do my city stuff as an art project and a more local ish thing for like pickup games and stuff.
Okay,
For
so you're not going to
like
go back
stuff.
full cities then?
No, I think my Deepkin. I love elves so much, man.
Yeah. And your army's so pretty, like it's so striking.
It
So
is.
striking. It's like Sin City. For anybody who hasn't seen his army, it's almost like walking onto the set of Sin City
Yeah.
after they've done all the post-production, right?
Yes,
Because
with
if
all
you
the
walked
blood
on
and
with the
everything going on.
pre-production, then it's just a lot of green screen. But
Yeah.
it's just red and white and black. So it's
Yeah.
post-production. So you can't actually watch. It's like sitting down and watching Sin City.
Yes,
Only
it is a
elves on
black and
fish.
white horror movie of them coming up because again, I've set mine in Olgu. They are on their raid. Blood is flowing through all the bases, and they've turned the rivers red with everything they're doing on their big soul raid, and There are 5 different types of grays in there that I never would have thought would have worked. But again, way back in the day with Miles, who helped me come up with all of these schemes and layers and things, and I've got nice little conversions, and I've used them for competitive events, narrative events. There was a tournament I went in one time where the guy running it was gonna play in it himself, and I brought a bunch of sharks, and he's like, "Oh, sharks are shit," not knowing that I was the other Deepkin player. And then I beat him to win the tournament in the mirror match at the end. Like I've been through so much with these Deepkin, so much with these elves. And they just keep pulling at me even more than my Stormcast, which got me my first tournament whenever it was Stormcast. But yeah, I missed my turtle. I gotta go out and do some shit with her. Yeah. My Shelly baby girl. So I think that's my next big thing is between that and also probably magnetizing their bases for better.
That's like a whole thing in and of itself, man.
Yeah.
So true. So true.
As you build in the future, do that first. Flip them all over. Right when you open the box, glue the magnets in.
Yeah,
that's smart, Mason. Okay,
yeah,
some of us got on the magnet train late.
You have to use your brain for that.
Too
Mason.
smart, too thorough.
I did that for my Zinch.
Also, if you want it to go a little quicker, Rocco, for if they're already painted models, you could turn it upside down. Like the viewers can't see, but you can probably see, right? Turn it. Do a little drop of super glue. Drop your magnet on there. Then the baking soda, on top, just instantly harden it, and then you can just take it back down. Bingo.
Yeah.
And then it's groovy.
Just make sure you have extra baking soda for when like your wife or somebody else who needs baking soda.
Go buy your own.
Joke's on you. I'm the one that's classically trained as a chef. It's my fucking baking soda.
Yeah, but you never know.
She's not allowed to cook in my kitchen.
See, but that's the thing with baking soda. You never know when somebody needs it.
They
can need it for random shit. So you always just want to have an extra one.
Or like volcanoes. Classic.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. But yeah, I think that's where we're going here. Is I wanna hit up an Always Strikes Last tournament on each coast.
Nice.
And I've got Adepticon planned out for March. And actually a bunch of my buddies are the TOs there, so it's been I want to go and support them and what they're doing, and including
what's the GT that happens in DC, like right in your neck of the woods?
The Nova Open.
Yeah. So fun.
Will you be going to that?
So not the GT. I do the narrative event there, which they keep my other co-hosts keep giving me shit for as the narrative fluffy whatever player I am, whatever the joke is.
I mean, the joke is that it's not
Seal Clubber.
It's an accolade. It's like a medal you get every year, which is like like a bronzed like butter knife, which is #1 narrative throat cutter champion.
Yeah. But because with that was I've been helping trying to grow that. Also, there's a big ass siege battle that's like a 30-person craziness of it's like 30 or 40 feet long of castle towers and walls and shit that we fight over into the map kit. It's a whole thing.
How quick does that sell out?
It does sell out.
I mean, just how quick? I've always been curious. Like that's something I haven't done since I moved to Seattle. Is like actually get out of the area to go to tournaments.
Okay. I mean, the GT, oddly enough, doesn't sell out that fast, but that's also like 8 or 9 games of Warhammer because they go through it.
It's glorious. Yeah, man. It's glorious.
It's a very hard as nails tournament for the GT.
Nova wants to kill it. I get it.
Yeah, but again, people love it. After game 5, my brain is a little bit mushy, a little malleable, not gonna lie. Not everyone can be Mason.
Hey man, more stamina than me. I can't even make it past 3.
I played in it once and it was so fun, but it was also you're right, Rocco. Yeah. You get to like the end of like day 2 and you're like, I just finished my 5th game of Warhammer. Rack off. You're like, what?
Yeah.
I am
Okay.
I do live
Now
down the street
imagine
from it,
being,
so,
imagine winning that 5th game. You're 5-0, and it almost means nothing yet. You've like got like okay, fuck. All right, here we go.
Yep.
Rack 'em up.
Yep, that's what
Yeah,
they
here
do.
we fucking. Yeah, we're not even that drunk. Let's go. Here we go.
You fucking feel you might as well be that drunk when you're that tired.
Yeah.
It's so true.
But you know what would go perk you right up? A ghost energy drink.
Yeah.
Now an
Get
orange
the ghost
creamsicle.
or whatever their slogan is.
Whatever.
Funny.
Exactly.
I was gonna say Going Ghost, but that was Danny Phantom from Nickelodeon, so that's not gonna be good for the marketing campaign.
We don't want to steal it.
No.
Damn it. Redo. Let's start the whole episode over.
Yeah, we have to rewind,
Whatever it is.
record.
Yeah.
So anyway, all this rambling to say, kind of like what Jack was saying, except I without the TOing because I just don't have the space to store all the shit. So yeah, a few RTTs, a couple of GTs, seeing the coast to coast hosts.
You got me so excited.
Yeah, that would be
The
so
host of the
awesome.
coasts.
Yeah.
Would you bring the wife? Would she play also, or?
That's a good question. She does have Night Haunt. She does play. She's good as well. I don't know. That'd be up to her.
A strong maybe.
Strong maybe. We'll say strong maybe.
That'd be cool.
Very strong maybe.
I don't think mine would play, but she would be impressed that getting another going.
And if not, we make a family vacation out of it anyway and just have a good time.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty awesome, guys. So we came through, I think, all 4 of like the 2024 aspirations. Oh, did we get you yet, Matt? Matt, we started with you.
It isn't always strikes late, and we have very short memories. Yes.
Full circle. The snail is eating its tail.
That is a great segue into ASL as a whole for what we're going to be doing this coming year.
Okay, yeah, let's hear it.
So
yeah, boss, what do we got on the table?
We're already making it up to at least 2 tournaments to 4 tournaments, maybe even 6 tournaments. We'll be expanding, obviously, from each coast. What is this? We're the coolest dudes I know. And we'll be
people.
We'll be setting up a studio soon, where we're going to start doing battle reports and going to start leaning into more like engagement battle reports, as in not just here's what we did, watch us play a game, but actually learning how to do the minutia of the game. So that will be a lot of fun once we get the studio set up at some point, probably mid-year, that we're going to move into that and just start cranking shit out. Mason, I'm gonna try and steal him for a couple of them, but we'll have a couple of guests on that y'all will know in the Warhammer community.
So I'll need to go to the main studio. All right, I need to get some credentials or some shit.
Yeah.
You get the press pass, in there.
And
I still need to get our dice so I can give it out to people I play at events and shit.
That we do need to rectify.
That's right.
Like we actually.
Well, I've
been here half a year. What are we doing, guys?
I will say that
at
the first official Always Strikes Last tournaments in the Northeast, dice were given out as prize support and attendee support. So
okay,
they're in circulation. We just got to get some going.
That's nice.
I have at least 2.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing a new limited run of dice, new color. Obviously we're going to get those to Rocco this time and Mason.
Obviously, yeah.
Definitely.
Miles is currently working on some awesome shirts for the Patreon members only.
He's cooking.
It's really cool. Him and I had like a fun little discussion about what would be really fun. And of course, the secret word for you guys to think about is, you dear listeners, is goats.
Banana.
We could probably fit a banana in there.
Yeah, I can see a banana.
You just gotta make
For
sure you
scale.
know where you're putting
just for
it.
scale.
And some bodies, not Gotties.
Bodies Not Gotties features prominently too in our discussions.
Yeah. And our once a year boxes should be going out soon. We've got like awesome transfers for people on the Patreon with their little slogans that we've kind of caught up with, each with their little armies that they have been posting for,
You love to see it.
Pins and everything. This year is the year that they reap the rewards of somehow being able to stand our voices and give us just a little bit of a cup of coffee worth to keep the lights on.
And that's a good moment to say, guys, patrons, huge thank you. That's one thing in 2024, 2025 we couldn't go without, is recognizing all you've done to help build the channel to where it is today. So you're the original OGs.
You really are. And that's why you're getting the OG shirt for the goats.
Ooh.
Yeah, I see what you did there, and I approve of it. So and good it was bad.
the final goal that we have for ASL this year, and I don't even think this is a stretch goal. I'm just completely ignoring the dad joke at this point.
You're trying.
I'm trying. I'm really trying, man.
Really trying.
That's that. I had my second kid energy right there in that dad joke. I don't know.
So
watch out, he's gonna have a third.
Final goal, which doesn't even feel like a stretch goal, because we just started YouTube not that long ago, right? Is let's get to 500 subscribers this year. And when we get to 500 subscribers, we'll be happy. It'll be a good, nice little goal.
Your poor wife.
I'm running over that joke like some person who just sped down the highway. There's a poor raccoon that has turned into a smear 13 feet long down the highway, and I'm not even ignoring it. I'm safe in the knowledge that it doesn't exist as I grind it just a little bit further down the
stand-up comedian.
You're that brave skier, like right ahead of that avalanche, just like crashing all around you, just leveling trees. Like, nope, it's just a normal run for me.
Everything's fine. Nobody look over there. Everything's cool.
It's a little windy. I don't know why it's so loud. You just hear the crashing of the snow.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have batch painted 2,000 points at once to start with, because every day I just did like a lot of progress, but it feels like so little in the grand scheme of things.
I get that.
Did you batch paint?
Every little minor step.
I batch painted
a
unit.
2,000 points, a whole exact list.
Mace.
The orcs?
Yeah.
A little bit of this. A little bit of that.
Right.
For the listeners, I'm dusting off the metaphorical shoulders of Mason.
Mason, it sounds like you need a break, and you should talk about some other things like these lists from Neverwinter.
That's a good.
Okay. What are we doing here?
Look at that.
That event happened somewhere. I don't even know where.
Boston.
It took place up in Boston. It was put on by the Wicked Dicey guys, and it's one of their marquee events, and it's awesome, right? Every year they do a couple retreats, which are fantastic. If you're able to go, though I keep dodging by accident or circumstance. One day we'll get out to one. And they also have the Ironwood tournament and the Everwinter tournament. It's sort of like a summer winter thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really well done, and they attract not only like top talent, all the best players in the country. Well, not all, but many of them make it out. You do a lot of big names, but they're really fun events. They're well run, by the whole club, and really come to life and grown over like the last couple of years and shown kind of like how well those guys are, attuned to organizing solid events. I think we had Miles Kovarik on at one of our other episodes to talk about that. And just the same crew to put on.
You were there, and you were there listening, dear viewer.
Mm-hmm. And I was there.
Yeah.
That's the tournament. Real close to me. Real sad I couldn't make it out, but like I was tuned in and following along. But I digress. Mason, there were 3 5-0s at the end of the day, and this is Mason's
it was crazy.
Talk about what's going on with these lists.
Yeah, I'll do my best to talk for them. The first place was Jeremy Vessier with Fire Slayers of all things, which is crazy. But
coming out.
Yeah, I mean, he's going back to his roots there.
He's the best. Yeah, I mean, like he's the best Fire Slayers. he just had a kiddo, and he's not even
Anything
been that
dwarf.
practiced, and he shows up dwarf, and he goes off. You know,
he threw Gotrek in that too, didn't he?
He did have Gotrek in there. Yeah, I don't have the exact list up, but it was like 3 drops, I think, and it had a hero and a Grimwrath Berserker, and then like 10 Hearthguard with poleaxes, and then another. And it was like a Rune Father or a Rune Smiter, and then the other regiment was a Rune Father, another Grimwrath Berserker, and like 20 more Grimwrath Berserker with poleaxes. Then he had 10 of the shooters as well, and then Gotrek. Maybe I do remember the whole thing, but
it's not bad.
I just remember they're just so cheap. The with the poleaxes these days.
Yeah, it's like 220 or 200 or something for the reinforced unit. It's pretty groovy.
Oh, that's wildly cheap for that, and they still get like the word save, like
they do.
All that,
It feels a little bit
and
more
the broad axes, I think, are the ones that get better when you charge or something like that. Not the mortals. Attack. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. He's super good. And I know he had some tough matchups. I think he played Tom Guan in the finals, where it's just like 1,000 Blissbarb archers.
Oh, God.
So, yeah. So that was really cool of him for that first place. It's kind of wild to see because Fire Slayers really haven't been on the radar kind of at all. There were a few represented at Worlds, so that, there's that. But yeah, not a ton of representation or talk, and I'd be curious to know how much like Field Sergeant came into play, if at all. I would imagine so, because especially he probably was more drops than most of his opponents. So I wonder if he was capitalizing on like giving Bodyguard to one unit and then Field Sergeant to another. So like everyone's going faster now with that. I'd assume he was doing something like that. But yeah, really cool to see.
Dwarves get the zoomies now.
For those who may not know, Field Sergeant, could you break down the rule real quick?
Yeah, you have to pick a hero that is in a regiment that is not leading the regiment to be the Field Sergeant. It's got to be infantry. And he gives himself and all other infantry plus wholly within 12 +2 to their movement.
Yeah.
So it's a new honor guard that you can pick. So it has to be like a bonus hero, basically, in a regiment, like a Grimwrath Berserker for the.
And it's really nice too, because with the recent change of if you have more regiments than your opponent, you can get a second thing. Or if you were planning on doing another honor guard thing anyway, this is just a really nice cherry on top. Because you could always use extra movement in this game.
Yeah.
100%.
And I would guess that for an army like this, where you can increase your movement by like 50% base, I would guess that's probably the first go-to here. Yeah. Most of the time. Yeah. If I had to guess, maybe there are instances where you're like, well, they're going to sprint at me anyway, so who cares? You're right. And who knows, right? I don't know how.
But that's always the thing with dwarves. And that's something that historically has been a problem with Fire Slayers is either you've got a bajillion of the little ginger motherfuckers screaming out, but waddling 4 inches. So either you play around, cool, I auto ran them and they're sitting on an objective, hopefully they all won't die. I can't be the one pushing the army out. I have to play reactive. I mean, and then you get pinned in place. But now with this extra movement, it's a whole new world.
In third, there was that kind of like, not, I wouldn't say counter meta, but like go big or go home list where you just yeet half of the army up across the board using the priest with his burrowing rule. Which I think you could still do. I won't lie.
Probably.
I keep on looking at the Fire Slayers rules and then forgetting them right away.
That's still in there. I think it's just a unit with the hero now.
Or maybe it's one of those where it's got to be the whole regiment with him.
Yeah, I think it's the regiment.
That's kind of their thing. Either way, though,
infantry.
Fire Slayers, for a first place 5-0 finish, like that's pretty
amazing.
Pretty wild. Second place, I think was the Beast of Chaos list, but I'm gonna be confident on that. I'm gonna say second place was Gavin Greiger with Beast of Chaos, and it was basically a modified version of the 80 Bestigor from before, modified to fit the new points increases. So I want to say it's like a Grey Ray Shaman and 60 Bestigor, and then 10 Bestigor for 70, and then another Greybrae Shaman with like an Ungor and a Gore unit, maybe.
Interesting.
Maybe it's 2 Ungor and a Gore. I don't know. Basically, I think you had to downgrade. Yeah, 10 Bestigor to 10 Gore, and then the rest of the points worked out for you. So you just like, I don't know, gained a unit, kind of.
Bodies.
I guess.
Just all the bodies.
Yeah. Same old dance that it was. Like there was really no change to it. So yeah. I guess in a world where Bestigor's only lost 10 models, that that's pretty strong. And he said that's pretty strong still. So not a ton to say about that list, right? It just like it stands still, it kills stuff. It's really good.
And real quick, magnet tunneling. Sorry, while we're on here.
Find it.
No, I do have it. For the Rune Smiter, it's pick this unit up to 1 unit in its regiment. If neither unit has been deployed, you can set them up in reserve, and they pop out 9 inches away from anywhere on the battlefield.
Sweet. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and that kind of made sense when you were able to like reinforce to up to, I think it was 30.
Yeah.
To just become this annoying tar pit to let everybody run up. Yeah, in that
right at the end of third, there was a really cool thing where you could play the double reinforced like war bands with the magma drops, and then you could like throw them up and grab your guys and like throw them on the other side of the truck. It was kind of cool. Okay, but the last 5-0 list I want to say was Carl. I think is it Carl?
Carl, yep, with his Nurgle.
Yep, and he was playing Nurgle, which is very cool. He was also 3 drops with this list. So Nurgle like is in the exact same boat. This list is like the exact same boat as Fire Slayers, and it's set up in a way to take Field Sergeant again. And I'll say the list in a second. So I'm really curious if both of those are like now building to have that again. A 50% movement speed increase is like huge for something like that. It seems so minimal, but when you go so slow, right? Like 2 inches is more than some redeploys you get, right? So I'd be curious to see how that goes. But if I recall correctly, he had Brotigus in his general, which is kind of cool to see the named Great Unclean One. Normally we're just seeing the regular one kind of juiced up with the items, but here we have Rotigus. And
you got the and 10
and 10 Blight Kings in that regiment. And then I believe the second regiment had the Harbinger of Decay with the Lord of Blights, and then 2 more units of 5 Blight Kings. He might have had 5 more in the General's Reg too, because I want to say it was 25 Blight Kings in total. 20 or 25 Blight Kings. Sorry, I can't remember the exact breakdown, but 1 unit of 10 and the rest were in 5s. And so he had that Lord of Blights for the bonus hero in with the Harbinger of Decay. So he had a priest and he had a double cast wizard and Rotigus.
Nice.
So that's really cool. And then he took the Flesh Eater Court's Regiment of Renown, which is like called like Chosen of Archeon or something of the Ever Chosen.
Oh yeah, those guys are amazing. The Questing Knights or whatever.
Yeah, and so I don't know what the special rule is for them off the top of my head, but it's pretty cool. It was like 320 points for a Vargul of Cartier and 3 Morbeg Knights, which I think is like a 60 point discount on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can help with that. The rule on that thing, Mason, is that they're crazy objective stealers. If you pick like a errantry target or something at the beginning of the game, and if you kill it with one of the units, both of the units from the regiment get +10 to their control score. And the Vargo of Courtier can like pop out of combat. If he kills anything, he can just do like a free move out of combat.
Get out and heal. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a 12 control score, like objective nabber with a 10 movement and can go over terrain like a flyer.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that is pretty gross. But what I envisioned is when I looked at that, I was like, oh, this is awesome, because for like the cost of 1 unit in Nurgle, normally you now have 2 flank units, right? Fast flank units now. So you don't even have to worry about, like, normally you'd see them having to like sacrifice 2 units of 5 Blight Kings. You're just like, aren't doing anything for a few turns to try to do something like that. It's almost like worthless to just commit to the Blight King build. But that regiment seemed to like really, I would assume in some cases, like really assist on those side flanks, or if anything like together on one flank. But Yeah, it was really cool to see that. Like even before the last update with 80 Vestigors, I played into a 30 Blight King list, and man, it shreds, dude. If and when you get up into the blender and you're not healing and you're taking the mortals +1 at the end of the turn and all those attacks, it's like 4 attacks on 3s rend one damage, and it's really easy to get them anti-charge from the Lord of Blights, and yeah, you can really juice them up. Like so, really kind of impressive and cool to see though that 2 armies that you've seen maybe a 5-0 since 4th edition's come out. I can't recall off the top of my head seeing another Nurgle or Fire Slayers, but it's possible there was another Nurgle. But
I feel like there was another Nurgle. But
yeah,
well, our Patreon Scott was playing Nurgle at the event. I don't think he didn't 5-0 in this one, but you mean they're 5-0 in the event for Nurgle?
Correct. Yeah, since 4th edition. There was maybe my memory is like kind of fuzzily thinking there could have been another Nurgle 5-0 since 4th has come out, but I'm pretty sure definitely not a Fire Slayers.
Yeah, I feel like there was one Nurgle like right out the gate when everybody's like, "Oh, they're crap." Then all of a sudden,
wasn't there
what?
like an all Magus Lords list that tried?
There was something.
I don't know. Yeah,
but yeah, that's the thing though. Like it's even if it did, it's been so long.
Yeah,
right.
But yeah, confirm.
Really cool to see those.
You got it, Mason.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was just really cool to see, 2 new armies be successful. I know all 3 of those players that went 5-0, very strong players. Carl's Canadian, right? He is
Canadian.
Plays with them. That's really cool. He
nice guy too.
The podcast, yeah, he does podcasts. I think with the guys.
Yeah,
because
he's season of war.
That's right.
Yeah, and then Jeremy, it's really cool to see him come back, and Gavin's just like, beating everybody with the best stuff all the time.
Gavin's just flying every tournament, it seems. It's got a big enough, there's at least 60 people. He's going to be there for a weekend having a fun time. Good for him.
Goals.
Good for all of them.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, rad. That's an awesome recap. Pretty actually kind of makes me like, obviously skill cap, right? Like skill cap for those armies very high, but like that makes me hopeful. Maybe that throws a wrench in the Slaves to Darkness mono list that we're seeing everywhere.
Maybe,
hopefully, right? Maybe that gives some ideas to some and others.
Oh, I know it. Matt, that as a gamer after your own heart, who does not like to play the same old cookie cutter list. It's real tough to be a Slaves to Darkness player right now.
I think it's amazing. I mean, I brought an all Therodon list to have fun with the buddy, and even that's competitive. Even that's competitive.
Oh, I know. I mean that's working. I just mean like it's tough when like you want to bring your fun thing. Like I like my Brand's Oathbound Weirdo Darko thing I've been running, and that works, so that's fun, but it definitely is like not 6 Vanguard, 10 Chosen, Bellator, and whatever else I feel like.
I mean,
I still haven't, baby, and a dream.
Haven't built my Vanguard. I've refused to build my Vanguard until those points go up. I won't lie.
They went up, dude, by 10. Come on,
that's enough, Matt.
10 points.
Come on.
They're fair now. They're fair.
It matters. Come on, it does.
Don't you like fun? Don't you like fun?
Well, I think that brings us to a bad place with Vanguard being 10 points more expensive.
Oh, I got to think about my turtles. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I remember hearing about Shelly 3 years ago.
Shelly Baby's
she got named. She got name dropped in all sorts of learning videos, dude.
She did.
She was a star.
And she's still around. The first the first time I played her in like anything, like trying her out when I first named when she earned a name was I think I was playing AOS coach in a TTS game in his server way back in the day, and he was trying some crazy goblins list. And I just remember she popped off and whatever the hero on the big ass Mangler squig, she ate it in like one go, and I'm like, I love this fucking turtle. I don't care if it's bad. I don't care it's second edition. Everyone's saying this thing's bad. Sixes to hit were mortals, and I cranked some shit. I'm like, I'm sold. And it's been 3-4 years. No, God. No, that would have been.
That's like 5 years ago, isn't it?
5 years?
Yeah. Yeah, that's 5 years, man.
Yeah, dude, you've had that forever. You were talking about that in our Jumpfire campaign.
Yeah, no, see, and it's just that she just stays around, and yeah.
Never
I take little breaks, and then I go back and breaks and back, and that's it.
It's a Terrorgeist without feeding frenzy. I still don't know how nobody else wasn't terrified of that fucking thing. It's like,
I don't know.
Have you not been hit by a Terrorgeist before, man? Come on.
Now
dude.
it broadcasts the ward save, and it shoots.
I remain terrified of the turtles.
Shooting.
I will always be terrified of the turtles. You respect the toits.
Anyway, we were saying this was a good play. Yeah, shout out University of Maryland. It's the Terrapins right now too.
Yeah. Good old MD.
Respect the Terps. We're in a good place, right?
Yeah,
we're good.
I think
we're
existentially, possibly for the episode, all sorts of.
Hey, Ravens too, by the way.
Yeah, Ravens. Yeah.
True.
Maryland's
that is a good
up.
bird.
Yeah.
I like
it. Sports ball for all the rest of you.
Great time to be a Merlander. But also a great time to try and find
last word.
Indeed.
Mason, say something.
Oh no. I
Later, guys.
I didn't hit the stop button.